Hey, hello, my friend. Today I continue to talk about Lord's Prayer, how we should pray. Last time I discussed that uh, it is the big gap between His will and our food. Yeah. So how could we, on one hand, uh, carrying out our life with His will? Seemingly impossible. This is why the Jesus Christ right in the middle to do the bridging. How it happened? Okay, so we talk a lot about the passage, explain the logic and the structure. Now I give you a real example this time. This has happened on me. Okay, it's not fake. These stories happen at my work. Usually I don't take a lot of risk. Why we think to take risk? As long as if I can execute according to the plan, I deliver what we promised, then everything should be fine, right? However, in some situation, you may not avoid of taking risk. So the risk of losing your job, okay, put it that way. The situation is my boss want to leverage a conflict of interest between me and my staff. So on one hand, he want me to blame my staff of not performing. But on the other hand, he talked to my staff and asked him to do the same back to me. He want him to blame me to be the problem. Well, I guess that you probably can see the temptation on us. What my boss want. What my boss want is he using this situation to push me to do something I don't want to. Or he also want to do the same to push him to do something he don't want to. Now for me, if I want to save my job, well, easy, fire him off, right? For my staff, what he would gain is that, well, if I push my boss out, I can take his position. So it is the huge temptation in the office politics. It is also the first time I learned the terms called toxic environment. It is the boss who created himself. Well, because I have the trust from my staff. And so we discussed. So that's why we find out this is what he's doing. Yeah, my staff refused to do it. He refused to be used by someone like this, okay, to manipulate the situation. I also don't want to put this burden on him because it's nothing related to him. So when you in my situation, what will you do? Are you willing to either you get yourself fired or get my staff get fired? This seems to be the seeming choice, which is what the boss put in front of us. Well, to me, is that because it's nothing related to him, it is not fair to fire him off, but I am his boss. I should stand for him. So then I know that my day is counting. Now I pray. I pray that, hey, Lord, what is going on? What is happening? Do I have to bite the bullet to get fired because of protecting my staff? Or do you have another way that we can resolve this conflict? So I both think of this objectively, look at the big picture. At the same time, I'm looking at myself, what I can do. I try to, pray and try to find the answer or find the solution. I think the first is we need to understand what's going on first before we can find the solution. Well, if I want to keep my job, well, I think I can follow my boss and then shift the burden on my staff. I guess many people might do it. You may easily find a reason and blame him on this and then get him fired. And also, if you do this, No one knows except that person and my boss. So then I can keep my job because I know my God really well, even though only my boss and that staff and myself know about it, and one more person knows about it is my Lord. I can face my Lord at doing such a thing. So ultimately, then I got fired. During the time in my prayer, during that time of struggle, I found there's several validations. One thing is that surprisingly, my staff is so righteous. He knows that my boss is trying to manipulate him and come to me and tell me all this. Well, this is really unusual, number one. And second is, it is really consistent to my style of management that it is not just to one staff. I have also other staff also. I cannot treat one person like this, but not the others. So I have to face my staff and also face them transparently how this group is working. So then I have no other choice. And also the number three is that when I pray, I see that this is what it's supposed to be. I find that it's really transparent and coherent that the team working together, so that I get the peace of seeing such a picture in front of me is, wow, it all looks good. Yeah, it's bad that I may get fired, but I would not destroy the team that way. With all this validation, I counted my day until I got fired. Yeah, it's brutal, right? Yeah. On earth, we will have troubles. This is exactly the trouble we will face. But also, remember, God is looking at us. He is testing us. Now I'm going to tell you what's happened afterward. One funny thing is that months ago, before all this happened, one investor has invited me to a dinner party to be with other companies' executives to talk about the technologies and things that are happening in his investment. That dinner is the day after I got fired. Will you go? Now my boss has a really good reason to put the burden on me to justify his position. Because I invited some friends over, so I have to go anyway. It is quite embarrassing that when I meet this investor, and after we see each other, yeah, we know what's happened, and we chat a few words, and that's it. We try not to open up the can of worms. Well, people start to come to the party. However, my friend didn't show up. But at the same time, another surprising thing is that I have a couple more friends. I didn't know that they actually working in one of his investment also joined the party. Oh, we chat, especially what happened, what we did in the past, and their company is a rising star of startup and eventually go IPO also. So this investor surprised that how would a loser working so well with the other most famous people in the industry. So he started to relax and talk. Oh my gosh, when this happened, this remind me with one Bible scenario that put it in the Psalms 23 verse 5. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows. This table of the dinner is really showing me how God is really in charge, and even funny that he put me in front of, supposed to be the embarrassing situation, but he even put the oil. What does that mean? Make me look good in front of my enemies. So I know that, wow, this is something. Well, even though I may not find a job later on, just this one is already good enough. One more thing. And next day, I get an offer from another company also. From losing my job to getting my job back in 3 days. Well, I know that. If you're in these 3 days, what? You don't know what's happening. You'll be in, uncertainty. You don't know when you're going to get the job back. Finding a job is not easy anyway. And you have a lot of thinking, ideas, worries. And are you sure that God will take care of me? Because I've been going through this many times with God by following His will and also my food He will take care of. Then when I going through this myself, I have the peace in my heart. The first few times you may feel excited and wow, are you sure that you're taking care of me? But after a few times, it becomes natural to you. So I guess in this testimony, it is telling us that besides we need to first, we need to know the truth, right? Yeah. Love our staff as ourselves. I also love my boss, but I can't help him by firing off my staff. This is the wrong way to fixing a problem. Second is know God more, so that you can find His hint in this scenario, so that we know how to follow Him. How we get that? Learn from the Bible more, okay? The third point is have faith to follow. So now your gut's telling you that you cannot fight him off. You want the transparency in the team. So it looks like you have no other way, then you just be it, even though you may get fired. This is what God teaching us, how to face the challenges in our life. His will be done on earth as is in heaven. We all believe. At the same time, how we put His will done on earth as is in heaven to carry out our life, finding our food. I think even though I give you a lot of wealth on earth, but you need to do something that you not believe. That's not good to you as a being. So that's why God gives us this promise. If you follow my will, I will also giving you your food. This is a promise. If you're looking at the passage, give us today our daily bread. Is give us is imperative. Our demand. Wow. Is that the amazing prayer? That you have that such a confidence that God will provide it. Of course, you need to learn more, to leverage such a strong conviction and faith that you follow His will, and then now you demand God to provide. This is our faith lesson to show that God is trustworthy. What we need to learn? First, know the truth from the Bible. Love our staff as ourselves. Also know our God more, so that we know how to follow Him. When we find the hint that He put in our life, do we have the faith to follow it, to fully execute His will on earth as is in heaven. After going through these challenges, I gain something more. I'm more like our Heavenly Father. Why we call Him our Father? First, He is living, not a concept or principle. Any religions ask us to follow the principle, but they never offer a solution. Our God is personal. In this case, I need to bite the bullet of being fired. If this situation happened on you, our Father may give you a way out without not being fired. We're all different. So that's why there's no one-size-fits-all solution in the Bible. What we need is that we need to really establish a working relationship with our Heavenly Father and let Him guide us. Even though we are not certain about the future, but one thing for sure, our path is on His hand, and it is always the best, not even the second best. So I rest assured that as long as I follow His direction, I will be fine. I have a lot of experience like this. I will share it with you later. I hope you find the power in the prayer to enable you to have a brightened life on this earth as is in heaven. No matter how much trouble you are in today, but pray and seek His light to shining to us, lead us through the challenge, and be more like Him. Okay? See you next time.